The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 9. For the eyes of Yahuah run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect towards him. Herein you have done foolishly. Therefore from henceforth you shall have wars. Shalom, YASHAR'EL, Elder DFG. Hey, brothers and sisters, in the vein of making sure that we're understanding not only the judgment that is happening upon the earth holistically, globally, domestically. And I say globally, it just means internationally for some of you guys who may be, wondering, okay, what does he mean globally? It's just internationally, all over the earth. We talked about the tariffs, we talked about the U.S. aid, and all those different programs that's being, used as a cover story for last day's judgment. In other words, they have to provoke this final battle at the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that their mighty men are going to go out and truly believe ignorantly that they can win against Yahuah. And Yahuah's going to set them up. He's going to let them go into their own trap. That's why he's allowing them to enrich uranium, and they're all on this uranium hunt because they all want to see who's got the biggest stick. Excuse the pun. They're all tied up in that fallacy stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Especially the heathen nations. And when I say heathen, I'm not just talking about the so-called white people. Yes, them without question them. They're the worst violators. But I'm talking about the melanated nations too, and the between melanations. I'm talking about the yellows, the brown people. They're just as wicked as the so-called black ones, and damn sure in competition with the white ones. I'm just using terms that are relative. We know that these people have names. Canaanites, Cushites, Hamites, Edomites, the Philistines. We know they have names, just as we have a name, YASHAR'EL. But that's not the purpose of the teaching. The Bible verse that I just brought out, I wanted to bring this out because there are many of our brothers and sisters. I'm talking now in particularly to YASHAR'EL. I don't care about what the other heathens do. So I don't want to hear anybody tell me, what about everybody? I don't care about them. I only care about us. If you don't care about your own self-preservation, then why are you even worrying about what's going on with anybody else? Because I can assure you they care about theirs. That's exactly why Psalms 83 says that they're confederate. It means they work together against who? YASHAR'EL, who doesn't work together at all, except for a small remnant of us. But there are more of us coming. But then there are some of us who are among us, the righteous remnant, who have a problem with, cleverness. In other words, hiding in plain sight. What do you mean by that, Elder DFG? Well, when you hide in plain sight, in essence, what you're doing, you're saying since some man, some sister, some brother doesn't see what you're doing, then it's all good before Yahuah. In other words, you walk amongst your brethren, and you create this, this image among your brethren, that you are walking in a righteous, perfect way, because you understand perfection now is loving Yahuah with all your heart, all your mind, and all your strength. But what you fail to understand is that words are words. Our behavior is where judgment starts and stops. I'm going to say that again. Words are words. But when it comes down to where judgment is applied, our behavior, brothers and sisters, that's what Jeremiah was talking about, the heart. Jeremiah 17:9, he said that the heart is desperately wicked above all things. Who can know it? But Yahuah judges what? The fruit of our lives. You know what I'm saying? The ways of that we behave. And it says Yahuah does it, not men. Well, men judge it. But see, men judge incorrectly for most part, because men only can see what's revealed to them. And Yah does not reveal everything to every man. He doesn't. So he'll to the person who's living unrighteousness, they know they're living unrighteously. They're not ignorant to that fact. If you're living a life that's not consistent with what this Torah is prescribing, then you don't need a genius to tell you that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. But again, because we have been trained by our enemy to be deceptive, to be clever. In other words, fake it till you make it. As long as nobody sees what I'm doing, then they have to take my word for it, even if I know I'm a big fat liar or conniver. Pretender. But again, all that may work for you, for the individual. It may work for you in terms of allowing you to have access to things, that others have access because they're under the impression that, there's a like-mindedness that's going on. But see, when this book says Yahuah goes throughout the whole earth, and this is the important part here, brothers and sisters. When it says Yahuah goes out through the whole earth looking to show himself strong on behalf of those whose hearts are perfect towards him, you need to understand that Yahuah goes throughout the whole earth looking to place harsh judgment on those whose hearts are not perfect unto him. See, it's not one-dimensional. We have a tendency to look at it from a perspective that works for us. But we won't look at it that if Yahuah is going through looking to show himself strong on those hearts are perfect towards him, then you don't think he's recognizing those of us whose hearts are wicked, imperfect towards him? And when I say wicked and imperfect, it means that you are casting shade upon Yahuah by hiding in the bushes and pretending that somehow or another you're hiding from, with your wickedness from men, that Yahuah can't see you in the bushes. It's like the ostrich who, when a predator comes, sticks his head down in the ground and thinks because he can't see the predator, that the predator does not see him. And he finds out the hard way when he hears that painful, hit, and then all of a sudden everything goes dark. Because now he's food. And I say this because, again, there is this behavior within Israel that is causing those of us who deserve to receive Yah's blessings and grace and mercy. It's causing some of us to have to reconsider who walks among us. Because there are those who walking among us who will gladly jump and they'll put it in the comments, brother, I'm with you. They'll talk to you, in conversations, I'm with you. I'm talking about men-to-men conversations. You follow me? Or any conversation, but in particular men-to-men conversations. And yet, Yah reveals things to his prophet, and we begin to look beyond and say, wait a minute, this doesn't line up with what you said. Or even worse, you can step back and you can look at their life. Every time they try to put something together, it never works out for them. And the reason it doesn't, brothers and sisters, and this is a truism for all of us, you can fool men some of the time. You can fool nobody all the time. But you can fool Yahuah none of the time. And if you're not grasping this, you're going to be destroyed right along with the rest of the wicked. Abraham's brother Haran was a perfect example of being double-minded. I'm going to play both sides. I'm going to get away with what I can get away with. As long as nobody sees it and they don't see it. But Yahuah sees it. And at the end of the day, who are you counting on for your blessings? Who are you counting on for your strength? This is a question I ask each and every one of us, including self-reflect myself from time to time. Who am I really trusting? Who do I think is going to redeem me? Who do I think is going to save me? Surely not a brother and surely not a sister, although we help one another and we can be blessings to one another. But salvation and redemption, that's Yahuah's business, brothers and sisters. And you can fake it till you make it with men, but you can't fake anything and make it with Yahuah. And I come forth to remind my brothers and sisters of this behavior. This entrenched you know, what would be a best word? This entrenched self-destructive ideology that makes us think that somehow or another that an all-seeing creator can't see your folly. That somehow or another, because you're doing it, you know, in the shadows, he doesn't realize you're doing it in the shadows. Somehow, because you're pulling things over on your brethren, in other words, you know you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. I can call out many of them. The apparel of women. You know, these strange entanglements we have with animals, cats and dogs, to name a few. And because we have made our minds up that, hey, if the heathens can do it, we can do it. Or somehow or another that, you know, we're saying we're not Christians anymore, that we don't follow the heathens' doctrines anymore. But there are behaviors that we were doing when we were following the doctrines of those heathens, and we just took those behaviors and we let them migrate right on over here into our Hebraic culture, which means Torah keepers. And it doesn't fit. I'm telling you, it's not going to work out for you. And there are many of my brothers and sisters that you're suffering all these consequences that Deuteronomy 28 talks about for the people who are cursed. I'm not saying we are under any curses. Some of us are being cursed because of our behavior, but you're suffering all of those things because of little small foxes that you refuse to deal with. Just as the wisdom of Solomon said, or Proverbs of Solomon says, wisdom of Solomon said, what is the small foxes? Let's look at that spoil the vineyard. And because you don't want to deal with the things that you don't want to deal with, then what you do is you find a way to reason for yourself, and it's okay that you're doing it, but your consequences are going to be your consequences. The Most High Yahuwah does not look the other way because you don't agree with his laws, statutes, and commandments, brothers and sisters. And the two of us, we're fishing over here. You know, should we be keeping the Passover? Should we be? No, you need to just be looking at yourself and are you living right? How about that? How about ask yourself the question, am I doing the things that's going to cause me to be redeemed? When Yah comes and judge this earth, will I be spared? I mean, to me, that's a more of an appropriate, you know, self-assessment we should be doing. What am I doing in the dark thinking I'm getting away with it, but I'm not? Because you aren't. This book again says his eyes go throughout the whole earth, again, looking to show himself strong on behalf of those whose hearts are perfect before him. Look at the Songs of Solomon, chapter 2. Look what it says, verse 15. Hold for us the foxes, the little foxes that harm the vineyard, and our vineyards of vine blossoms. He said, if you deal with the little things, then the things that are keeping you from getting the better things or the best things won't be hindered. But he said, if you're going to take and you're going to ignore those things that you want to ignore, you know, like Saul did, he kept the king. 1 Samuel 15, Yah said, destroy everything, utterly destroy it all. But what did Saul decide to do? Excuse my strength here. Don't excuse it, but I identify it. So if you're thinking, well, he's coming out, okay, I identify that. But this book says, cry loud, spare not. If you care about your people, you're not going to be sitting over there talking like a little tender, delicate man. Or woman, for that matter. Tender, delicate, I'm talking about. Men talk like men. I'm a man, so get used to it. You wait till you hear Yahuwah's voice. But then again, I don't think you want to hear Yahuwah's voice. Because if you think this is offensive, when y'all come and tell you I'm going to damn you to hell for eternity, you really going to have your feelings hurt. So the question you need to ask, what tone would you like? This tone or Yah's tone? Because this tone is so harsh that even in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 16, 17, he told the people, hey, you sure you want to hear from me? He said, you sure you want to hear my voice? Or do you want to hear, my servant, the prophets? He said, I think you're making the right decision when you say you want to hear my servants, the prophets. So settle down. Okay, when adults are talking to those who Yah has appointed to take responsibility, then they need to come across as though they are going to take on that responsibility with strength and resilience. Regardless if they get called brutish or toxic or narcissistic, whatever they could be called. Names and names and names and names. Names and names and names and names. Keep playing games with the name calling. But you're going to find out the hard way. You played yourself. You played yourself. You made a fool of yourself. Because you got caught up in the imagery and conflated imagery with obedience. It's exactly what when Solomon talks about it in Proverbs 14 and 12, when he said there's a way that seems right to a man, but the end of that way will cause that man or woman her destruction. That seeming way that's right, that is your way versus what Yahuah says. What his Torah teaches, what the Tanakh lessons that have shown us when we're in error, what can happen. When we reject Yah's truth, what happens. And there's no hiding from Yahuwah's judgment, because Yahuah sees it all. And just like if he's seeing us, brothers and sisters, to show himself perfect, and for some of us, that's exactly what he's doing. He's manifesting his beauty. He's manifesting his strength in many of us. I know some of you, and I've seen your progress over a period of time. I can see how Yah has enriched you as a man and enriched you as a woman. But then I see others among us who are being clever and thinking again, because I don't see you, or the other amongst the group don't see you because they don't live with you. They don't live in your area. They don't have a personal interaction of how you live your day. Then you're assuming that you could just project yourself on us as though you're one of us. And what I'm saying to you, you may get away with that with us, but you're not getting away with anything with Yahuah. And so that sickness you have is just going to get a whole lot worse. That poverty that you're in is going to increase 100-fold. That self-deception that you hold was going to be your one-way ticket to that lake of fire. Except you repent and cut it out. When you tell someone you're going to do something, brothers and sisters, our word is our bond. When we confess, or if we say we're going to do something, we're accountable for it. And whether someone is there to recognize it or identify it or not has absolutely nothing to do with it. You didn't get away with anything. Not a single thing. And again, as I stated right here, it's the small foxes. It's the little thing that you do because you don't want to give it up. I paid too much money for this dog, so ain't no way. Okay. Does it walk on its paws? P-A-W-S. That's the only question I have for you. Does it walk on its paws? Because if it walks on its paws, you better go to Leviticus. Because Leviticus is going to tell you it's an abominable animal. Now, you can deal with that or not. But don't expect me to look the other way. No way. This book says that I warn you. My job as Yah's prophet and messenger is to warn you. To tell you what you're doing is going to cause damnation to come upon you. It's going to cause all those curses that have been hindering our people now for thousands of years to land right on top of your head like a dark, thundercloud. And that every now and then y'all gonna pop some lightning down there and hit you right in the ass because you don't want to listen. Because you don't agree with it, because again, you have your own rationalization. You're hyperbolic, remember that word? See, because of our misguided, learnings, we think that those who are coming at us straightforwardly are coming at us, disrespectfully, because we've been taught incorrectly. This book tells us clearly who the Most High Yahuah loves, he corrects. He delights in correcting. But the heathens have taught many of us that no, if someone corrects you, it's an insult to you. It's an offense to you. It's disrespecting you. And therefore, nothing changes in you. And so you're being led right down to the path of self-destruction. So all of the bumpers on the side of the road, which is Yah's truth, Yah's messenger, has now been taken away, and you're on this cliff, and you're blindfolded, and you're running or driving full speed ahead, never seeing that little sign says, danger ahead. Slow down. And again, so all of this, when I was a little kid and you did something that you were, your parents didn't know you were doing, we call that being sneaky. And just like, your parents, if they found out you were being sneaky, consequences were applied when you were discovered in your sneakiness. Brothers and sisters, it's no different than with Yahuah. When you're doing against this book, and because man don't know you're doing it, and you're thinking that somehow or another the Yah, that the creator Yahuah that you believe exists, but yet somehow or another you think that you're getting away with it, being sneaky. Just like your parents in the natural held you accountable when you were exposed, Yahuah is going to hold you accountable, and you're being already held accountable. It's not just, when you die where you're going to land. Shame and contempt, as Daniel said in Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. It's not just the shame and contempt. It's all those blessings that you could have received right here, right now. Like David said, thou prepares a table for me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointed my head with oil. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. He said, surely goodness and mercy will follow him while he was still alive. So you're not going to get that. Sneaky people are not going to get that. You'll get the illusion of inclusion. You'll get the illusion of blessing because you equate blessing with getting what you want. Yahuah associate blessings with obedience. Sometimes doing exactly the opposite of what we want to do. And it's impossible to get away with it. You're not getting away with it. If you go into I'll give you another example. If you go into a contract with another man or a woman, and you make a commitment to that person that certain behaviors you're not going to do inside that contract, and you violate that contract, you deserve to be thrown out. You deserve to be fired. That contract deserves to be disposed of, destroyed. I don't care if it's a rental contract. If someone says to you, there's certain areas that you stay away or stay out of, or these areas are off limit, and you violate that, you are wicked. And nothing you touch is going to work out for you. There's an old verse in the song, song that I like the verse more than anything else. So you came a long way, but you went the wrong way. And it's a stench before Yahuah, brothers and sisters. When we project upon him, that we're being righteous, when we know without question our behavior does not line up with this book. And the book plainly breaks down what's acceptable and what's unacceptable before Yahuah. And the great thing about the book, it acclimates to the situation and the time that we're in. Therefore, we don't have to do Passover. We don't have to do a lot of those things because they're unclean practices. And now they're tied in with, with this religious foolishness, with Jesus being the Passover. Jesus being the sacrificial lamb. That's what Easter is representative of. And a lot of Israelites are doing an Easter version of the Passover, although they don't call it Easter. But they're still saying it's about Jesus or Yahuah. So it's still perverted. It's still paganism. And Yah is going to judge it harshly. He's already judging it. And the little that some of you have, you're about to lose that. The sickness that some of you have is about to intensify. Just remember I told you winter is coming. Not for all of us. The righteous remnant, no. Yah says, I'm going to put a shield around us. But there are many among us that there's not going to be any shield for you. Not if you're doing what you want to do. And what you want to do doesn't go along with this Torah. And you're not learning from the examples of our ancestors and learning from the example of what's going on right now around us. You see, Yah is judging this whole earth, and many of you are judged. Many of you will judge when you rolled up your sleeve and let these people inoculate you. That wasn't trusting in Yahuah. That was trusting in yourself. Well, I got to survive. Okay, well, we'll see about that one. Can Yah reveal, can Yah undo what they did? Of course he can. But that's only if you're not doing your little sneaky stuff. You know, the stuff that you think you're getting away with, again, because men don't see you, but Yah sees it all. And here's how I know it for a fact. And there's a nation amongst the 12 nations, or tribes among 12, that's probably worse at it than any of us. At least of the other tribes. There are 12 tribes. But this one particular tribe here, you know, boy, you're talking about talking to a brick wall when you're talking to them. Oh my. This is the one I'm talking about. The book of Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 17. And so before you get all worked up and all offended, then I'm going to say to you, maybe you want to just listen to what it says in the book. My job is just to point it out to you. Before that, matter of fact, let's go here. I want to make sure we all on the same page here. I'm not doing this to being apologetic to any of you. You know, you have to decide for yourself if you're going to trust me or not. That's up to you. I trust me because I'm going to do what Yahuah tells me to do. I have that Josh mentality. Do what you want to do, but I'm serving Yahuah. But look what he says here. Son of Adam, book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. Son of Adam. Now he's talking to Ezekiel. And this goes for any of his prophets, not the prophets of this who made themselves prophets. I'm talking about those of us who are called by Yahuah to teach, to warn, to guide. Verse 17, he says, Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Son of Adam, I have made you a watchman unto the house of YASHAR'EL. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, and you give him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from their wicked way, to save his life, because that's why we're warning you here, not out of hating you, to save his life, that same wicked man shall die in his wickedness, but his blood I will require at your hand, prophet. Yet if you warn that wicked man or woman, and they don't listen to you, in other words, they don't turn from their wickedness, nor from the wicked way that they're doing, he shall die in his wickedness. But you have delivered your own soul. Again, when a righteous man turns from his righteousness and commit wickedness, I will lay a stumbling block before him, that he or she shall die. Yahuah said, I'm going to put the stumbling block from you. You're never going to be able to get out of the mess that you created for yourself, is what he's saying. When you don't hearken to his prophets who are in this word giving you his truth. And I've given you nothing but truth up until this point. And I'm going to continue on doing it. Now let's go over to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17. It reads. See, we teach, inform, and educate here. Because again, I don't want to see anybody lose their soul in YASHAR'EL, even though I know it's going to happen. But I'm not here to promote, your destruction. I'm here to encourage you to turn away from the broad path, the way of damnation that has been socially engineered upon us for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Whether it be Leopold pushing Christianity or Willie Lynch preaching or pushing divisiveness. A wicked Israelite from among us, like First Maccabees says, these who work for the henchmen. The henchman's lynchmen. Talking about these wicked Israelites who come among us, denouncing everything that Yah says is good, and yet telling us to embrace everything that Yah says is wickedness. Because they won't tell the truth, because they're incentivized, they're paid off, they're taking bribes and treasure, behind the scene, brothers and sisters, to not tell you the truth. See, it's a strange anomaly when you can find somebody who will say, even if you stop supporting me, I'm still going to say the truth. And you're looking at a prophet that meets that profile. For those of you who are helping, I appreciate your help. But if you decide that the truth is offensive and you stop helping, then you know what? Take your little filthy lucre and you go buy somebody who tell you the truth. Because you can't buy me. You can help me do this work and be blessed. But you don't have enough money for me to sell my soul to you. You can forget that silliness. I'm just telling you, you sound, like a foolish person. Would Job tell that woman of his, say, woman, you sound like a foolish, telling me to sell my soul for silver and gold? You must be crazy. This Torah is worth all the silver and gold in the world. Isn't that what Psalms 119 and 72 says? Look what it says. And I'm coming back over here. I haven't forgotten where I'm going. I'm going to talk about this one people who's the most clever of all these people. And it's an insult before Yahuwah that these people, this nation, a strong nation, a nation that has the ability to change this world, have taken that ability and made the world not a better place, a worse place. And now this same nation has the face of everything that's abominable and wicked for the most part. Not saying all of us are that way. I'm saying we're the face of it now. We're the group of the people that, reveal to the world that Israel is just a piece of shit. I know you don't like me using that word, so I'll say dung. That makes you feel better. It's the same word. Verse 72, Psalms 119, verse 72. The Torah of your mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. I'll read it again. Psalms 119, 72. The Torah of your mouth is better unto me than thousands of gold and silver. So there's no way I'll let anybody buy me off. If you're standing with me and you're supporting me, then you're going to be more blessed than I'm going to be. So, hey, that's your recompense right there. Not changing who I am. Just recognizing that Yah's going to bless you for being a blessing. That's what you get for it. You don't get my soul. That belongs to Yahuwah. Verse 17. Here we go. Jeremiah chapter 17. Verse 1. This is the nation amongst the tribes. This is the tribe amongst the nation, the chosen nation, a nation that Yah pulled above all the nations, YASHAR'EL. He said there's one tribe inside of here that for the most part is messing it up for everybody else, unfortunately. Who is that tribe? Look at this, verse 17. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the it is engraven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of their altars. He said, who again? The sin of Judah. And then you go drop down to verse 9, he said, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yahuwah searched the heart, just like 2 Chronicles 16 and 9 says. Yahuwah searches the heart, and he tries the mind, how you're thinking, even to give every man according to your ways and according to what you do, not what you say. So 2 Chronicles 16 and 9, it ties right into to Jeremiah 17 and 9. I hope you're writing that down. Precepts. And again, not to hurt, not to harm, but to give you a future, to give you a hope. Just like Jeremiah 29 and 11 says. But let's go one more place. Let's go over to the book of Enoch, chapter 104. And while I'm turning the page, don't forget tomorrow night is Tanakh study, and I hope you're with us. How are you going to learn if you don't want to hear the teachings? Look what it says here, Enoch 104. I swear unto you, righteous, that in heaven the angels record the goodness before the glory. So that means if it's recording the goodness, it's also going to record the wickedness. And that's what you just heard me read in Jeremiah 17 and 9. That's why these teachings are so important, brothers and sisters, because a lot of us are skating through life and wondering why, we can't seem to have any type of sustainability in anything that's good. While we're perpetually in the doghouse, so to speak. The doghouse. Even when you use the word, even when you use that terminology, or he's in the doghouse, doesn't that imply something is wrong? For all you folk who think these dogs are not unclean animals. But yet every reference when it's of a dog, the dog returns to his own vomit, like the pig returns to the mud. And nobody's picking on you. I'm just telling you. And while you can go over there and Yahuah this and Yahuah that and overstand, outstand, whatever kind of stand you want to do it, at the end of the day, you will not be able to stand before Yahuah. If you're in any type of an abomination, whether, and I mean anything that Yah says is unclean, and you're doing it. And you can't make something clean that he calls unclean. Just like he said in Numbers 22, you can't unbless what he's blessed, and you can't uncurse what he's cursed. And if you're in any kind of, rebellion towards your iniquity, wickedness, idolatry, sorcery, divinations, abominations, then every weapon formed against you is going to prosper. And yeah, you can say all you want that it isn't. But I can tell you, look at your life. You're pining away. You're not growing. You're stuck. Nothing is coming for you. When this fire starts to come, nobody's going to come and get you. Nobody's going to rescue you. And you're going to be in such stubborn and rebellious, you're not even going to respond anyway. The shofar will go off and you're going to sit there. You're going to be like that frog that they said that they put in a pot and they turn up, they put the frog, they put it in this pot and they turn up the fire under the pot. They put the frog in the water, and when the frog is in the water is room temperature. But they turn up the heat on that pot slowly, little by little, and that frog just sits there, pining away, sitting there as things get worse and worse. His condition is getting worse and worse, but he doesn't recognize it. And ultimately, by the time he recognizes that water is boiling, and guess what? His body now is in shock and it cannot come out. And therefore is going to die in that environment. If there was ever a metaphor for those of you who are pining away, who are saying, well, I don't have to make a change. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing, regardless of the situation or the environment that's changing around me, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. So either you change or you deal with the environment that's going to change. Either you change or you deal with the changing environment. And that changing environment does not have your best interest in mind, YASHAR'EL. In particular, Judah. And we're Judah. I'm Judah. Verse 104. I swear to you, righteous Book of Enoch, in heaven that the angels record your goodness before the glory of Yahuah. So if he records the things that we do good, he's going to bless it. That's what I said earlier. Yah will bless you for doing what is good. Verse 2. He said, waited with patient hope, for formerly you have been disgraced with evil and with affliction. But now you shall shine like the luminaries in heaven. Who? Those who are righteous before Yahuah, that he's recording all these things that you're doing are right, not the little sneaky, clever stuff you're doing in the dark. When I mean dark, the light might be on, but because, the person that you have made that you're in agreement with, you've given your word, so to speak. And yet you're doing something different. You're giving your word to Yahuah, and yet you're doing something different. You say, I love you with all my heart, all my mind, all my strength. I'm going to keep your commandments. I'm going to obey you, but then you don't. Sirach 20:25 says, a thief is better than a liar, but they both are going to be damned. He says what? He said, those who do right will shine like the luminaries of heaven, which is what Daniel said, the expanse of the sky for those who turn many to righteousness. That's my goal. So you shall be seen, and the gates of heaven shall be opened unto you. Your cries for judgment, for your cries have cried for judgment, and it has appeared unto you. Judgment is happening. For on account of all of your sufferings shall be required from all the princes and from everyone that is assisted in harming or plundering you. Talking about the righteous among us. Those who are doing what Yah says, even though it's costing us something. And you should always have in your mind, I don't want to give Yahuah anything that doesn't cost me something. The price of redemption, the price of salvation is obedience. Again, the price of redemption, the price of salvation is obedience to Yah's Torah and heeding the warning from Yah's prophets. Yahuwah's prophets, not the world's prophets. They can be bought off. He says again, wait patiently with hope, verse 3, and nor relinquish your confidence, for great joy shall be yours, like the angels in heaven. Conduct yourselves as you may, still you shall not be concealed in the day of great judgment. See, right here. Say, do what you want to do, but you're not being concealed. Say, Judah, do what you want to do, but Yah said, I'm watching you. You're not getting away with it. You just think you're getting away with it. And he said, and I'm going to put a stumbling block in front of you to make sure you don't change at some point. See, I'm going to mark you from damnation at some point because you would not listen to the wise. And we can read that in Enoch 97:16. He said, because you refuse to listen to the wise, I'm going to put a stumbling block in front of you, and I'm going to mark you from damnation. So guess what? When you hear me telling about these unclean things, you're not going to change a thing because Yah has marked you for damnation. What you're going to do is get offended, unsubscribe, and then stop supporting this work. That's exactly what you're going to do. Now prove me wrong. I know that's what you're going to do. And you too, you know it. But look what it says here. Wait with patient hope, nor relinquish your confidence. For great joy shall be yours, like that of the angels in heaven. Conduct yourselves as you may, still you shall not be concealed in the day of judgment. You shall not be found like sinners. Eternal condemnation shall be far from you, so long as the world exists, as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And now fear not, righteous, when you see sinners flourishing and prospering in their ways. Be not associated with them, but keep yourself at a distance from their oppression. Can't emphasize that part. Say stay away from them. Run away from them. Run them away from you if you have to. If you raise your voice up and tell them about their transgressions and their sins, they will leave. They will flee. If you tell them that they have to get rid of something that they don't want to get rid of, they will run. They will leave then. It's easy to do what it is if when you approve of it. What are you going to do what you're supposed to do when you disapprove and you don't want to do it? That's your true trial right there, brothers and sisters. To be not associated with them, but keep yourselves at a distance from their oppression. Be you associated with the host of heaven. And he goes on to say, you sinners, say all your transgressions shall not be taken account of and be recorded. He said, but all your transgressions shall be recorded daily. So you're not getting away with it. So I just wanted to take a few minutes and bring it out because I'm starting to see that behavior. As we start to get closer to the end, I see there are Israelites among us who are still playing these little psychological games, mind games with themselves. Well, if he can't see me, he ain't going to know. How he know I'm not doing what he told me I shouldn't do? How did he know? But Yah knows. And that's where you have your problem at, because he knows. And trust me, his judgment is final. And Yah is a fury fire. He is a man of war. He does not to be played with. So I come to you with integrity, telling you, stop it. Cut out the folly. Cut out the foolishness. Cut out doing what you want to do before Yah cut you out. And you so-called righteous strangers, the same thing applies to you. Because you have this little clever way of popping in and popping out and doing absolutely nothing to help the work of this kingdom. Just because you agree. Yes, what else you doing? What else? Where's your works? Where are your fruits? How are you helping? And since I get to see who helps and who doesn't, I can assure you, you're not doing a damn thing. I don't know, Sister Betty Concrete is out there and Simply Mez is out there. Those two are exceptions. They are anomalies. But the rest of you, don't claim yourself righteous and you sitting on the side watching and just applauding. Where's your work? Where's your fruit? Where's your way? Where's your work? And why I'm thinking about that, I think it's appropriate. I want to thank Brother Keith, Brother Cameron, Sister Turner. Thank you, Sister Jackie. Brother Mendez, Brother Stark, Sister Coke. YAHUAH, trying to say your name the best I can say it. And Sister Ellis. Thank you again. It doesn't matter how small the gift is, it's the thought of it. Sister Wright, I see there's something coming from you. And I appreciate the few of you who do. And I know y'all appreciate it more than I do. But don't just stop at giving, okay? Make sure your life is aligned with this truth. Make sure your life is aligned with this word. And if y'all say rid yourself of it, y'all rid yourselves of it, okay? Don't let your good be evil spoken of. All right? Don't come the wrong way. I mean, you're going the right way, but don't turn wrong. Don't turn off the track. Heed the warning signs. Okay? Do the whole thing. Make the tree clean for food or not clean for food. I'm talking about you, your body, not some damn idolatry. You will go throughout the whole earth looking at what? To show itself strong on behalf of those whose hearts are perfect towards him. Judah, you got a lot of work to do. The rest of your tribes, that doesn't excuse you. Benjamin, the rest of you, I'm talking about the nations. Dan, Simeon, Levi, you're getting your asses handed to you too, so let's not play around here. But Judah, according to this book, you were supposed to be the protector and you were supposed to be the level setter. You were supposed to be the standard. And that's why Jeremiah says that Yahuwah is going to look upon, Judah as a nation, not individually, but as a nation of people. And boy, that hammer is going to come down. It's been coming down. We're getting lynched. We're getting hung. We're getting sold. Human trafficking. Coming up missing. Poisoned in our food, poisoned in the water. I was looking at a documentary about McDonald's yesterday. I'm gonna put it in my pin it. And brothers and sisters, if you're eating at McDonald's after you see this, video, and you still eating at McDonald's, then I don't know what to say about you. But then again, if you're still doing what you want to do anyway, so I guess that won't change your ways either. Nothing will change your way. Because you think that you can project upon Yahuwah because you don't agree with something. And I'm telling you, you're self-deceived. It's just what the book said. The small foxes, they spoil the vineyard. Meaning simply that Yah said, if you would deal with these little things, these things that go against his commandments, Yah said, I would open up the gates and I would pull you out a blessing that your barn houses couldn't, contain. But since you see me as your enemy be telling you the truth, then y'all say then, okay, I guess you're going to have to die in your sins then. Because I hope you're listening. I hope you're taking this to heart. Again, I hope that you're with us on these weekly studies every Wednesday night. I hope you're thumbing up, subscribe to this channel. There's a main channel. Hope you're over there too listening. Put something there yesterday. It's all about feeding the people, feeding the flock of Yahuwah. That's my responsibility, and I will do it faithfully. And for those of you who are supporting and standing with me, I appreciate your faithfulness, all of you. Together, we're going to make it happen. And together, these good things that Enoch 104 says, he says, and I swear unto you, righteous, that in heaven, the angels record your righteousness. Hallelujah. Your goodness, before the glory of Yahuwah. So keep up the good work. That being said, again, thumb up the message, share it. But more than anything, for you sneaky ones, you look clever ones out there, you're going to end up losing something that was given to you as a gift if you don't change. Mark that. Shalom, YASHAR'EL.